Hey guys, Karexip here with another review. This time I'm reviewing the deluxe Yokai Watch U prototype from Yokai Watch. This is the third version of the Yokai Watch, introduced in the second season of the Yokai Watch anime, and will also be used in the upcoming Yokai Watch 3. So this includes three things: the Yokai Watch U prototype, and 2 American medals. So, let's get started. Naturally, the first thing we'll look at is the watch itself. So where the first Yokai Watch went for the look of a modern watch, and the Yokai Watch Search Key had a retro look to it, the U prototype has a futuristic feel going for it, with the color combination of this metallic light blue and a plain blue, as well as this kind of technological clear kind of bubble going over it. And you can see that the clear part also extends over here, where it has the same pattern as the wrist straps, which this time have this normal blue color to them, and the metallic light blue that's the same as the base watch itself. On the inside we have that same kind of sticker design for the fake watch part, and the red strip to indicate the area where the medals are inserted from. The switch for the Yokai Searchlight is here on the side, and then you have the on and off switch right next to it. On the other side, there's this small spring-loaded slot that I'll get into a little bit later. If you look at the bottom, you'll see that you can see the speaker, but you can't immediately see the battery compartment. For that, I'll take something like a pen or a screwdriver, push down this little button here, which will unlatch the actual base with the wrist straps. You can see the watch pattern on the inside, and then they'll actually give you access to the battery compartment. And unlike the past two Yokai watches, which worked on button cell batteries that were included with them, this one works on a single AAA battery. So it has a little bit more functions to it, and it has more things it needs to power, so it uses a slightly more powerful battery instead of two of a weaker battery. And of note is that the straps are a little bit shorter than on the past two watches, and one of the notches has been filled in. But rest assured, this will still fit adult wrists as well as those of children. And because they're made of the same material, it'll still fit on nice and comfortably. Just like so. Next we'll take a look at the new medals, which are a new kind called American medals, which is kind of a corruption of American, since Yokai Watch 3 will be set in a fictional town in the USA called St. Peanutsburg. So, the yokai found there all have kind of American feel to them, and that's reflected in the two medals, Usopion and Pinto Corn. Whereas the original yokai medals and the Z medals were done in a manga-like style, and the classic medals were done in a kind of flat style reminiscent of older Japanese artwork, American medals are done in a style that kind of resembles American comic books. As you can see, various comic panels in the backgrounds, as well as dots that are similar to newsprint coloring. So the first one is Usopion, who is an Usurakage tribe yokai, who is both a rabbit and a US astronaut, which is why you have USA here in Roman letters. And it's both a play on, of course, USA, US astronaut, and Usagi. And Pion's just the sound of a bunny hopping. You have Pinto Corn, who's a Fushigi tribe yokai, who's a saga of corn, and his name is a play on the phrase Pinto Corn, which means it's okay, I guess. And on the backs, well, it might be a little hard to tell if you look closely. There are actually some stars done, kind of molded into the little grooves on the sides, and you can see them now right there. Additionally, the insertion arrow and the tribe symbols on the American medals are done up in a way that makes them resemble flags. So next, for the functions, we'll start by switching it on. And notice that as I switched it on, an array of colored lights came from the top part here, as while the past versions of the Yokai Watch had a light for the Yokai Searchlight Mode, this is the first one to have an array of different colored lights for the different Yokai tribes. So I'll do it one more time, so you can clearly see different colors. And of course, the first function is the Yokai Searchlight Mode, which is done by pressing down the button on the side. It'll make a blue light come on. That is considerably more bright than the past two Yokai Searchlights. And the sound used is also a little bit different from the past ones as well. Next we have the Summoning Mode. They'll do using the two medals here. First is Usapion. Another one of the new features is that this features brand new summoning songs for the different yokai tribes. And instead of being Japanese gag songs like the first one, or instrumentals like the second one, these are simplified songs done in different musical styles. And of course, you can press the button again to have the yokai repeat its name. Next is Pinto Corn. And of course you'll get a sound if you put a medal in the wrong way. However, what is perhaps the biggest feature of the Yokai Watch U prototype is that it is able to read all past yokai medals released before it was released. So that means it can read Silver Frame, Z medals, and Classic medals, as well as the clear blue special attack medals, which you haven't shown off, but they're simply other yokai medals, or basically different versions of the standard yokai medals, just depicting the yokai doing the special attacks. So, to demonstrate that, I've pulled a variety of different yokai medals from the different three types that I've shown off before, from the different tribes. First, I'll use a Z medal for Isamashi. A silver frame medal for Goketsu. Another solo frame for Preachy. Classic Mill for Poka Poka. Another classic Mill for Bukimi. Another solo frame for Nyoruron. And lastly, a Z-Metal for Kaima. In addition, another kind of metal that it can read that is something that's been released and is in several ways of packs are B-metals, a new type of metal released to coincide with the spin-off games Yokai Watch Busters, as the American metals included were something of a preview for the later to come American metals, which will probably not be released until around the time that Yokai Watch 3 is. And these are done up in a much more stylized manner, and have a clear black color to them, with the top and bottom looking like fangs. And then the back it has a jagged pattern. Now for these, they function like most Yokai metals, except for at the end, they'll have one of the 4 specialties that Yokai can have in those games, being attackers, tanks, healers, or rangers. And also introduces boss metals for boss Yokai, which have their own summoning sound. And the final feature is that this is the first Yokai Watch that can be updated, which makes use of this slot that I showed in the beginning. For this, you can put in any old SD card by holding down the slot, inserting it, and pushing it until it clicks into place, then switching on the watch. This will switch it into update mode, where you can push the button once for a check of which version it's on, or press and hold to start an update. Now if you don't have a update on that SD card, it'll make that sound, apologizing and saying it failed. Then you won't be able to press it again. Then to switch back to the regular mode, you switch off the watch, remove the SD card, and switch it back on. And there you go. Overall, the Yokai Watch U prototype is by far the best version of the Yokai Watch released to date. And for a number of reasons. It can read new medals, it can read all of the old ones, and it can be updated to read future medals. And as of this recording, there has already been a version 2 released that is used for the newest types of packs. And there are likely to be future updates as well. And for the updates, you can either download them from Bandai's official Yokai Medal website, or buy an official SD card that's loaded with version 2 on it. And it's a great thing to have if you just want to buy one version of the Yokai Watch, as it means you can buy it and buy any kind of medals released in the past, and buy any kind of medals released to date or in the future, and be able to use them with this watch as long as you have it up to date. And it's especially good for people who are planning on buying the US medals when they come out, as it means if you want to collect some Japanese medals, you can just buy this one, and whatever kind of Japanese medals you buy, you'll be able to use it with that, instead of having to buy the Japanese versions of the Yokai Watch or Yokai Watch Search Key, and then later end up getting the US version, since, as it's been revealed, the US and Japanese medals are not going to be compatible with the separate regional watches. So if you're going to buy just one Yokai Watch from Japan, this is definitely the one to go, as it's the most fun, it's the most simple one, and it's the one that has the most features. So, all in all, it's the one that's most worth investing in. So, next time, I'll be doing a dull review of the Tutankhamun Ghost Icon and the second Ghost gadget, the Cobra Keitai. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, comment, or share it. You can check me out on Facebook at facebook.com/krx50. And for now, this is KRX50, writing off.